Dear God, I've been very honest about how I feel about you. I've been very honest about how I feel about what you've created. I do think that you could have done a better job if you wanted to. I don't think that you created this realm for a good reason. I believe that you created this realm for selfish reasons. I don't believe that you want us to thrive, to learn the truth, to reach high levels of awareness and be better. I believe that you're working very hard to ensure that we never get to wake up, to ensure that we never get to find the truth. You want us to remain ignorant. You want us to keep on fighting. You are using the devil as a scapegoat. You're looking for someone to blame for your wrongdoings because you know that as humans, we have the ability to separate right from wrong. And it seems to me that you didn't even want us to develop that ability. You wanted us to treat us however you wanted to treat us without us complaining, without us seeing that we're not being treated right. So since we gained this ability, you realize that we will realize that you are the one who's wrong. So you wanted a scapegoat. So you created the devil. But it is obvious that the devil is just a scapegoat because really, if he was causing that much trouble, you could have just gotten rid of him. I mean, if you can, you just get rid of the dude, right? You don't want him messing with your children. You know, if there was a person who was influencing my children in a negative way, if I had children, I'm not gonna have children, I'm not gonna bring children into this nonsense that you created, but if I did have children and there was someone who was influencing them in a bad way, I would understand that my children are still young. A person who's been here for a long time could know how to manipulate a kid. So what would be best is that I protect my children from that kind of person and make sure that they don't have access to my children. They don't get to talk to my children. That's how I protect my children. Because I understand that they're just children. Children can be gullible sometimes. You seem to not even understand that we're humans. And it's part of being a human sometimes to be gullible, sometimes to make mistakes, right? You seem to not even understand it. You seem to not even understand your own creation, which makes me wonder if you really created us, or there's a lot more that we're not realizing about this realm of existence. But you seem to not want us to know right from wrong. You seem to twist everything. There are a lot of things that you're doing that are totally immoral, but You don't want to be judged. You don't want to be questioned. And I don't need to read what's written in a book that is very old. By just looking at what's going on in the world today, I can tell that you're not doing a good job. But it's something that I want to talk to you about, which is something that a lot of humans don't even see that it's wrong. You don't see that it's wrong, and we don't see that it's wrong. And if we understood how wrong it was, I do believe we will be able to solve most of our problems as sentient beings. Right? If we understood how wrong it was, almost every problem will be fixed. But we don't see how wrong it is. So it's something, I'm going to tell you what it is, something that I'm going to be talking about in this video to show you that, yes, as humans, we might worship you and say you're great, you're good and all of that, but there's something that you're doing that is so wrong that a lot of people are not aware of, and that you might not even be aware of. And that is creating new life. Here's the thing. One thing that you must always keep in mind when creating new life is that the life that you're creating didn't ask to be created. You just have the power to create it. Right? So you're creating a sentient being and putting them in a world full of problems, full of challenges. In a world that they might not end up liking. And they have to deal with a lot of things that they didn't want to deal with, or that they might not even want to deal with. So you put them in a world that you know is not perfect, in a world where you're blaming someone else for your own wrongdoings, in a world where a lot of people are not okay and you know it. So you're like, I'm creating new life, and as if you have done a better job in the past. Think of all the wars that we had to fight as humanity. That proves that you've not been doing a good job. But somehow you're like, I'm creating more people, more people, more people, more people. It gets to a point where there's just too many people. Which makes me wonder, what are you trying to achieve? Are you trying to overcomplicate things that are already complicated? Shouldn't you be stopping and asking yourself if you're really doing a good job? Some ancient texts tell us that you will punish some of us if we don't believe in you. But you're the one who should make us believe. If what I've realized about myself is that if there is something that a person who is close to me, or person that I care about, if there's something that they don't understand, I try my best to explain it to them. If I care about them, I'm going to try my best to explain it to them in a way that they will understand. That is very important. I don't tell myself that, well, they should figure it out. You're supposed to know, all of us. You're supposed to know what will make Benedictine believe. What will make Benedictine see that I'm right if you're right? Like, what would it take? And if you think you're right and I think that you're not right, what is the solution? Does it mean that you must torture me? Because that's evil. I think every conscious being in this world should be able to see that that is evil. So we don't agree. I do understand that you want to be worshipped, and maybe you might feel disrespected that some of us don't actually agree with you. But you must also understand that if you're dealing with conscious beings um, that have their own desires, that have had their own experiences, it's not going to be possible that everyone is going to feel like you or everyone is going to be like you. So really the solution will be for you to take all the people who agree with you without torturing any of us. You're like, okay, these are the people that agree with me. Great. It still was the whole project was a success because there are a lot of people who agree with me, and when you look at this world, you can tell there's a lot of people who agree with you. You know, a lot of people. Like a lot of people who believe in Abrahamic religions. A lot of people doesn't necessarily have to be Christians. Doesn't necessarily have to be Muslim. You know, people who believe in Abrahamic religions. There are plenty in this world, right? So you take all your people. You don't torture us. Maybe you give us an explanation of what's really going on, and maybe give us an option. Like, do we want to keep on trying to please you so that if you feel like we qualify, you'll also, take us to your special place, or we want to be left here alone and we'll try to figure things out without you interfering in any way, or we just want non-existence. You don't realize how wrong it is to create conscious beings without their consent if the world that you are bringing them into is horrible. That is introducing someone to suffering, right? That is not different from hitting someone. I find a random stranger in the street and I introduce them to pain by hitting them. That is exactly what you're doing, introducing us to pain, because once we start existing in this realm, we're gonna have to go through a lot. It's not like it's gonna be easy. It's not like there's a way that we can avoid pain and suffering. No, no, no. Once you start existing, you start to suffer, right? There's no existence without suffering. So once you start, I think you might start suffering even before you're born. You might actually start suffering even before you're born. Let's say your mother doesn't eat right. Maybe your mother gets sick. Maybe you are sick, right? And then you're born. You still go through suffering, right? That will explain why babies cry, because it's always been odd to me that a baby will cry after they are born. Why? This is a very important question. The baby will be crying. Why? Why isn't a baby smiling? Because they can smile even when they're still young. They can smile. So why is the baby not smiling? Why is the baby crying? You might say, wait, maybe the baby is confused. Maybe it was comfortable inside his mother's stomach, so now he's confused. But there might be more to it. Yeah, the baby is born and the baby feels uncomfortable. Immediately after they're born, they feel uncomfortable enough to, cry, right? So they cry and they cry. Take them home. When they wake up, they cry. Give them food, they cry, and all of that. Maybe they're trying to tell us something. So, suffering isn't something that we can avoid because it doesn't matter whether you're doing something or not. As long as you exist in this reality, suffering is guaranteed, right? So when you create new life, you're basically introducing it to suffering. Yes, there are good things in this world, that people can experience, but that there's a price that we need to pay. Like, it's not easy to get what you want. It's not like uh, you have access to the things that you want like that. Some people are lucky enough, yes, but not all of us are lucky. Not all of us are lucky. Some of us, we have to work very hard to have what we want, and sometimes it doesn't work out. Sometimes we find ourselves having broken dreams because we tried so damn hard, but nothing worked out, right? There's this song that I like so much by not it's not, I don't think it's Christian who's singing it, but Christian is a WWE superstar. His entrance song, it's called Just Close Your Eyes. If you close your eyes, your life naked truth revealed. Dreams you never lived and scars never healed. In the darkness, light will take you to the other side. Find me waiting there, you see if you just... The lyrics. If you close your eyes, your life naked truth revealed. Dreams you never lived, and scars that never healed. Do you understand that we have scars that never healed? Dreams that we never lived. You have all these desires, but they just end up being desires. That's it. Isn't that bad? If I had a child and that child desperately wanted to go to Snake Park, the child kept on asking me, Dad, can you please take me to Snake Park? It'll get to a point where I'm like, you know what, man? Let me, I don't know, I don't have money, but let me try something, right? Why? Because I wouldn't be able to stand it, right? Seeing my child, unsatisfied. Like, I wouldn't be able to stand that. But you seem to be comfortable. Like, you're so comfortable looking at us suffering. No real assistance. In a world of inequality, right? It's not like if you put a certain level of effort, that's when you gain success, and it works like that, right? We know that some people can get the things that we want without even trying. In fact, the things that we want just come to them, right? Some people, they just attract what they want, and you might say, yeah, well, it has to do with what they think, how they think, or how they do things. It has a lot to do with luck. They're just lucky. That's it, right? They're lucky enough to be loved by a lot of people. It was possible for them to be hated by almost everyone, and wouldn't even be able to explain why they're being hated by people. And what that does is it kind of like ruin your mental health as a person. So even if you are going to be a confident, likable person, you, because of the hell that you've had to go through, Now you can't function properly. Now when you have to talk to strangers, you don't know what to say, you don't know how to make friends anymore. Like, you could have been able to, like, if people treated you well, you could have been a very easy person to get along with, a very easy person to love. You'll be very joyous and all of that. But now, because you've been through hell, you don't know how to function. And people will say, well, the reason why people don't like you is because you're too quiet, you're too rude and all of that. But the real reason why they don't like you is because they never liked you, and that made you worse, right? But yeah, some people are just lucky and some people are not, right? So we're talking about a world of inequality. So yes, you can talk about hard work, but let's not fail to acknowledge that some people do have do get the things that we want without even trying. There's a child somewhere that is driving a Raptor because the parents could afford it, right? There's an adult who desperately wants a Raptor, but they've never made enough money to be able to afford a car like that. You see the difference? And they're working very hard, but they can't afford it. It's how it is in this realm of existence. So creating new life without consent, it's actually horrible. And you might ask, well, so how do I get consent? I'll say, you God. Maybe ask us when while we're still here. Maybe if there's no other way, maybe you can create new life and give it enough awareness to choose whether it wants to be in this world or not. Right? You tell it everything about this world, and you're like, yeah, do you want to be here? So make it as aware as it possibly can be, and yeah, you let it decide. I don't know. Even humans, they don't see anything wrong with it, and it has to do with how you programmed us. If I see an attractive woman, I would like to get to know her, have a relationship with her, and probably start a family with her. Right? It's something that I would wanna do. I mean, not me personally, but I mean, as a man, right? As a man. So, as men, we are programmed to, these kids have they always say that I can be rude. Like, so these kids, they throw that in my car, right? So this other kid that knocked my door and said, "Yeah, they threw it." This other kid is probably 6 or 7. I'm just waiting for his mother to come back. They have to discipline their kids because the next thing they might actually maybe break the windows or something. Actually, I told them 3 days back that you can't be throwing stones here. So I'm waiting for the parents to come back. People will say that I can be rude. Like, you gotta learn to discipline your children. Like, seriously, man. Um, I don't like parents who don't know how to discipline their children. Because if their children mess things up, they ain't even gonna, be able to they're not even going to be able to fix the problem. Now it's gonna be my problem. You see? Like, I genuinely hate it. You have to discipline your child. A child cannot throw that in my car. Like, if you're doing your job correctly, a child cannot decide in their own head that they're gonna throw that at my car, like, and intentionally. It's when it started, I was like, this has to be the simulation trying to do something. I don't know, because this is weird. Why are these kids, you know, feeling so comfortable coming close to my car and throwing stones at each other close to my car? Like, no, this is weird. So yeah, I'm waiting for the parents to come back, and they don't have to explain. They're gonna come and remove that. But back to what I was saying to you. as men, when we see an attractive woman, we want, we want to make babies with that woman, right? And even if we don't want to, even if as a man you're like, I don't want to have a baby, but because of sex, because it's hard to turn down sex, right? So you might take a risk as a man. You're like, okay, I got an opportunity to sleep with this woman. There's no protection today, but what are the chances of impregnating her? Uh, Maybe about 1 in 100. So yeah, besides I'm gonna try the pull out method or whatever. But it's very tempting, like you've made it very hard for you for human beings to turn down people who are very attractive. And it's another trap, you know. I remember I made a video a few years back where I said something that shocked a lot of people. Um, some people misunderstood what I was saying because I said I don't think sex should be very enjoyable. I think it should actually be hard. Some people were thinking about like rape or something like that. Like I'm saying it must be like no. What I'm saying is because a child is born after people have sex, it shouldn't be something like because having a child is like a big deal. It shouldn't be something that uh people can accidentally get themselves into because they're trying to experience pleasure. So if it was hard, if it was painful, then only those who want to have children and those that are ready to have children will have children. But now there's a trap here. You're trying to have sex for pleasure and then boom, a child is born. And it's even worse for animals, because they can't use protection and they probably don't even understand uh how they even how they even conceive, right? They probably don't even understand. I remember I watched a video a few months back. So this lady realized that her dog was pregnant, and she took a video while shouting at the dog, like, "Oh, who knocked you? Who knocked you up? Who knocked you up?" And she felt sorry for the dog. And I when I looked at the dog, I was like, does it understand what happened? Or it would just end up giving birth without even understanding what caused it. Does it get it? Does it understand why its belly is big now? One day it found itself on heat and attracted male dogs, and then uh, now you know it's gonna be give birth to babies. Does it really understand what caused it? So do you understand that what you're doing to us as conscious beings is horrible? And I'm not just talking about us as humans. I'm also talking about other animals that are here. The animals that are uh, less aware, compared to us. I'm also talking about them because they're also suffering without understand. At least we kind of, I mean, we don't really understand much, but I think we can think in a way that helps us, understand some things. But they probably don't understand anything. Things just happen. When it's about to rain, they don't know that it's about to rain. Uh, they there was flood where I live. They probably don't even understand what happened. The snake that uh we found at the gate where I live, maybe the maybe where it was, there was too much water and it looked for a place without water. I don't know, right? But it probably doesn't even understand what happened. Doesn't have any idea that there's flood, right? So you're creating billions of creatures that survive off each other's energy. I don't think we as humans fully understand how bad that is. And it's weird how we don't understand that. Because here's the thing, if I was rich, I had a lot of money, and I decided that I'm going to create a game, a deadly game. People who are poor, people who are in debt, they can play the game, but it's a deadly game. People will think that I'm evil, you know. You find that in the game, it's a kill or be killed type of situation. Why will people think that I'm evil if I'm doing exactly what you are doing? Because you literally put us in a game, right? Where we need to rely on each other's energy for survival. You know, human beings eat animals, animals eat other animals. It's the same thing. And what's worse is that you could have created a different world, a better world. And we both know this is not the world we had in mind. But we got time, we are stuck. Answers we can find. When a human does the things that you do, they're evil. But when you do these things, you're not evil. Like, you are immune to being evil, basically. You're immune to being called evil. So people must not realize that you are evil. But when they do evil things to one another, then it's easy for them to realize that they're evil, right? You watch TV series like Squid Game. The creators of the game, I'm pretty sure when you were watching it, you felt like they were bad, right? But God has also placed us in that kind of situation. You know, they were trying to show us some of the hidden things that are in plain sight. Things that are hidden in plain sight. That we have to deal with as conscious beings that we don't pay that much attention to. Betrayal, how we betray one another. You see, in Squid Game, there was betrayal. People will be betraying one another for survival, for the big prize. There was no fairness. Life is not fair. Same thing. You made it to be that way. You made it to be that way. You can't blame it on human beings anymore. You can't say, well, it's just you humans. You are corrupt and you are this. You don't know. It's you who set it up that way. It's not it's not our fault as sentient beings. It's 100% your fault. So yeah, it showed us how we betray each other in real life. How we choose people in real life. There was a lady that chose this guy because she felt like she would have a better chance of survival, and you realized that very easily. shows us how the voting system works. You see, there were enough people that wanted, maybe not, yeah, there weren't enough people. Yeah, but there were people who didn't want to play the game, but they were forced to play the game because the majority of people wanted to play. See how bad that is? So the majority of people wanted to play the game, so everyone had to play the game. And that's how it is in real life. The majority of people want things to be this way, so things are this way, right? The majority of the people voted for the president in your country, and everyone is under your president, right? So they might not have necessarily wanted to be led by your president, but they didn't have a choice because the majority of people wanted to be led by that president. It's how it works in this reality. So you can't tell me that that is fair. You can't tell me that that is okay. You can't tell me that that is how it should be. You want us to create more people. You make it hard for us to turn down our sexual feelings. When a man is like healthy, he feels like he must have sex, like he must release. When a woman is close to her period, when she's about to release an egg, she feels like she must have, she must be with a man, right? What kind of trick is that? Shouldn't it really be a choice? If a person really wants to have a child, but yeah, I really want to have a child, so they feel the way that they need to feel for it to happen. Like we weren't created to build a better world for ourselves. This is another problem that I have. Like we're programmed to save those that are above us, including you. Like you created these hierarchies, and we're trapped under this hierarchy. You're making us experience a lot of different things without our consent. People get sick. Don't choose to be sick. Don't choose to have that kind of experience. It's you who chooses for them. Like, yo, you're gonna be sick and you're gonna be in a hospital for months. If it was up to them, they wouldn't choose to be sick, right? If it was up to us, no one would be sick. If it was up to us, no one would be poor. So people are having experiences that they don't want to have, and they don't know how to stop these experiences. Another problem is that there's no button that you can press. You can't just decide, like, okay, God, look, thank you for this thing. Thank you for giving me life. I didn't ask for it, but maybe you knew what you were doing. But it's all good, right? Like you don't have an option like that. You're gonna have to be here for as long as possible, right? And that is what is believed, that you must play this game for as long as possible. It's like of the movie. What is it called? This movie. It's a 2025 movie. About these guys that These guys that were in a walking competition. So the last man standing wins the money. So yeah, you're not supposed to stop for like 90 seconds, I think. So they just keep on walking. The one who will be the like who will still be standing at last, that's the person who wins the money. So they just walk, and there'll be soldiers with guns. You know, you wait for too long, they shoot you. You try to run, they shoot you. If you feel like you want to relieve yourself, you only get like 90 seconds, right? So just give you three warnings, and the last warning is them shooting you. So life is like that. It's like you got to be here for as long as possible. Uh, some people believe that if you choose to leave early, you're gonna go to hell, right? Which is kind of like the same, you know, with what's happening in the movie. I mean, the movie that I was telling you about now. That those who stop, they get punished. Those who decide to quit, they get punished. So people just keep on walking, keep on walking, keep on walking until there's only one person. And you're like, okay, I can do it this for as long as possible, but can you tell me what the point is? Every movie that I've watched where people found themselves in a situation where they knew nothing, there was something very evil that was being done to them. Like them not knowing anything wasn't for a good reason. I've never watched a movie where a person who didn't know the truth about themselves, that was for a good reason. I think we know that on a subconscious level that if you put in a situation where you know nothing, even if you want answers, like we know on a subconscious level that that's bad. Like there's the reason why you know nothing is not a good reason. So we have to walk for as long as possible, but we don't know why we are walking, where we are going. The way some parents should treat their children, it's like the same way that you treat us, the way they punish their children. Most children are being treated as if they're asked to be here, as if their parents have done them a favor, and they should be grateful. Like people don't even want to acknowledge that when they have children, they're having children for themselves. They're not having children for the sake of these children. Like no one decides that I want to have a child because I want this child to have a great experience. And even if it was not my child, even if I wasn't the one to give birth to the child, as long as the child exists, like if it was possible for someone else to have the child, to give the birth to the child, as long as it's them that are going that is going to be existing, that's good enough for me. No, they have children because they really want to have children. That is why some people will cry, if they don't have children. Like they will cry, they want children of their own, even if they can adopt. So that tells you something about how we are as sentient beings, right? So that also tells us something about you. This world exists because you wanted to create it. It doesn't exist because we want it to exist. You're the one who really wanted to exist, so it exists, right? But you treat us like we're the ones who wanted to be here. You gotta listen to me. You gotta follow my rules. Like, I didn't sign a contract that I was gonna follow your rules. It's your rules. You're the one who came up with the rules. I ain't come up with these rules. And the worst part is that you don't mind if we are born with diseases. You don't mind if we're going to suffer because we're not really healthy. So a child can be born if the child is not healthy. You don't try to fix the problem. It seems to me that sometimes you put us in those situations because you want it to be the way that you can get the energy that you want from us, I guess. I was explaining the law of attraction to someone today. Maybe I should make a video dedicated to this. I was like, I've said many times that the law of attraction does not work, but really, it actually does, but not the way that you think it does. It works in reverse, right? Like, if you really want something, you're not gonna get it until you stop wanting it, until the matrix or God can no longer get energy from you because you want it, so you get it because you already deserve it anyway. Like, if you really want something, you're not getting it, right? That is why if there's something that you wanted with all your heart, you're probably gonna get it in this life, but not when it really matters, right? Not when you really want it, not when you're desperate for it. When you're desperate for it, is a God is like, oh, you know what Benedictine wants? He wants a house. He desperately wants a house. Bingo. So now I'm gonna make sure that he doesn't get it. I'm gonna create obstacles for him so that he does not get the house. Why? So that he can produce lush. You know, as long as he's sleeping in a room that he doesn't like, perfect. He'll be producing a lot of lush right now because he wants a house. So if the room is not perfect, that's even gonna make it worse for him, right? That's why it's difficult to get what you want. It shouldn't be difficult, it should be easy. So you don't attract what you want, you attract what you will not really value that much because at your level you can get a lot of these things. So you don't really want it. So you get more of what you don't want. Isn't that crazy? Doesn't that tell you that the world is upside down? Why do you get more of what you don't want? You find that you can have it all, but what you really want, you don't have it. So all the things that you don't want, you have these things, but there's some that you really want that you'll give up everything for, but you don't have it. Until one day you give up. You're like, I don't want it anymore. It doesn't matter anymore. I don't care anymore. Bingo, you get it. And you're like, huh? Was it this easy? Like, I had given up. My mind was not even there anymore. You know, it's like if you lose something in your room Ever realized that if you lose something in your room, if you might look for it and then not find it, especially if you really need it at the time, right? You might look for it and you do not find it. But a few hours later, you're not even looking for it and you find it. It was on the table the whole time, and you're like, but I've looked for it on this table. It really was not there. I looked for it. Stop lying to me. I looked for it. And you find out you did look for it. But you end up telling yourself that, oh well, I just didn't see it. I just missed it somehow. It's weird. Well, the real truth is that you were super desperate to get it. I remember I was looking for my Zambak. Weird, very weird thing. So I looked for my Zambak at home, I didn't find it. Looked for my Zambak here in this room, I didn't find it. I looked for my Zambak in the car, I didn't find it. Today I'm in this out of town. Search my pockets. I've already searched my pockets. Actually, I remember searching my pockets thoroughly. I didn't find my Zambak. So I searched my pockets. I'm looking for some coins. Boom, there's a Zambak. Huh? How how do I have a Zambak right now? And yeah, it's a Zambak. It's my Zambak. Right now I don't know where I placed it. So there was a time when I was looking for it. I didn't find it. So it seems to me that you, as God, you're trying your best to make us experience what we do not want than to experience what we want, right? If I stop wanting success, you probably give me a lot of success, right? Isn't it weird? So the law of attraction works, but you get what you don't want. That's it. You just have to understand that it works in reverse. Like you gotta perform reverse psychology on reality for the law of attraction to work for you. It's not about visualizing what you want 24/7. Hey, I want a nice house. Every time when you wake up in the morning, you're visualizing yourself having that nice house, being comfortable. It's not gonna work. You just put yourself in a situation where you don't need it anymore and it'll come to you. Something is gonna happen. Reality will find an excuse to give you that nice house that you've been looking for. And you're like, really? I've been looking for this house, but I ended up not caring anymore. Somehow I'm getting it. When it really mattered, I couldn't get it. Like, you do get what you want, but when you don't want it anymore, you realize that's how it works. People who don't want what you wanted, they don't get it, right? If you wanted something, it's you who's gonna get it. If you got friends who don't want this thing that you wanted, they're not gonna be lucky enough to get it. Like, it'll come to you. I'm not talking about something that you get because like you've done something to get it. Like the time when you totally give up, you're like, I don't want it anymore. Now I want something else. Is when you're gonna get it. What a world that we are a part of. What a reality that we are a part of. I'm not feeling so well, man. Especially when I lie like this. I feel very sleepy, but I also feel like weak, like my body's weak. I don't understand what's going on. Today I went to this township called Giani. Uh, post nights because I'm trying to. I told you guys that I have a criminal record. Uh, there are businesses that I want to start, but I can't start these businesses because of this criminal record. So I went to Postnet to see if like they can. I have to pay like 300 and something. Everything costs money. It's crazy. Uh, to see if, because they don't use the official government police clearance certificate, right, for what I want to do. So maybe my criminal record might not appear, because maybe for what I want to do, it's not that important. And it's already been, like I've been telling you, that it's already been like 13 years, bro. You know, like it kind of like, it makes you want to, turn back. It makes you go like, what is it all for at the end of the day? Like, we are being made to go to that like extra mile for things that are not even that great, you know? Yeah, of course, as a human being, I cannot be perfect all the damn time, but you can't say that because of something that I've done like 13 years ago. Like, bro, you're no longer protecting other people at this point. You're just abusing us because you have power as government, right? Like, nobody's being protected. Any person can commit crime, right? Any person can commit crime. Even if a person has never committed a crime in their life, they can commit crime. It doesn't mean that if someone committed a crime 5 years ago, they're gonna commit crime this year because they committed crime. And some people who end up committing crime is because they were put in these kind of situations where they were never truly forgiven, right? Not given a chance, a second chance. So a person comes back from jail, they have a criminal record, they can't work anywhere. Like, yo, man, I'm a changed man. So, okay, fine, I'm out. What should I be doing now? Because every company is not going to employ me because I'm unemployable, right? Yeah, I have a criminal record. Actually, tell me, guys, when a person gets released from prison, because mine was a fine, it's 300, which is like $23. The value of the rand is actually rising against the dollar. But when a person gets released from prison, do they still have a criminal record? Because that is weird, right? If I'm supposed to be rehabilitated, like if they put me in prison because I'm supposed to be rehabilitated, when I come out of prison, why should I still have a criminal record? Yes, the criminal record should exist, but not. But if I want a job, no one should know that I've committed a crime before if I get released from prison, because that will undermine the work that is being done to the criminals in prison, right? But what I'm trying to show you, God, is that there are a lot of things that are just flawed in this reality. You've put the wrong people in power. Like, people here choose you, based on qualities that don't really matter when it comes to leadership, right? If you're handsome, charismatic, you're like, oh, I like that one, and then you gain a following, and then now you're some kind of a leader. Like, no, like, you're giving power to, like, I don't know, man. The whole thing is upside down, and you can't use the devil as a scapegoat anymore. You need to be honest with yourself about this realm that you've created. Did you really create it for a good reason, or you didn't know what you were doing, and that is why things ended up this way? That level of honesty is important at this point, because this has not really been working. When you look at what is going on in the world, you can tell that this has not really been working. At least it might have been working for you, but not for us, right? So maybe for you it has been working, but for us who are here, who have to be here every day, it has not been working. People are feeling empty, not knowing what they should do. Like, they've suffered a lot. They have no idea what they should do. That's not beautiful. That's not a beautiful story. We want the story to be beautiful. We want the story to make sense. We want to be able to justify this. If I brought a child into this world, I should be able to explain to the child what this is, what is going on, why things are the way that they are, and the child should smile. You see, we protect children from the truth. I remember there's this clip that circulated online last year. So this kid was asking Mike Tyson about legacy when he was supposed to fight Logan Paul. Was it Logan Paul or Jake Paul? I don't really remember. Tyson was like, "Yo, I don't care about no legacy, because we're all gonna die anyway." And a lot of people like, "Yo, Tyson, like, you can't talk to a child like that." But that's how we are. Like, we're protecting children from the truth about this reality, right? So they grow up not knowing what is really going on because we are protecting them from the truth. Like, we're basically lying to them about what is really going on in this reality. So they grow up and realize that, oh, shit, the world is not what I thought it was. I thought this realm was good. I thought things actually make sense in this realm, but now I'm surprised because this is confusing to me. I didn't expect things to be this way. I didn't expect things to be this crazy. I didn't expect things to be this hard, but damn. That's why people are traumatized, bro. You hit the age of 18, go to university, and you're like, damn, this is rough. You know? I never really felt good during my tertiary days. Never really felt good. I always felt, I don't know, I always felt like I was not enough. And I mean, I don't feel like the world was treating me good at the time. Yeah, it was just rough, man. You're broke. You go to class that day, like you don't have enough money to buy food. You're gonna eat when you go back to where you stay. Like, you don't have that extra cash. You get, yeah, let me buy food so I can eat before I go to class. Or it's 11 o'clock now. It's 12 o'clock. Let me go and eat, right? Because I'm going back home around 4 or 5. Like, you eat in the morning and you eat when you go back home, and then you see other people and they're able to buy the things that they want. And I don't know how to explain the feeling. Like, you feel so little, you feel so small, you feel so undeserving. Like, it kills you. It kills your confidence. It kills your belief in life. That life loves you. Life is gonna give you what you want. Like, it feels brutal. It feels unfair. I can't even, like, I don't know if I can explain the feeling very well. It feels empty and dark at the same time, right? Ever been in a dark, empty room? Yeah. So something is definitely wrong, and I think you should be honest to yourself about that. Because you are just creating people and animals without their consent. And there are a lot of animals that are suffering, a lot of them, lots of humans that are suffering, and no one is saving them. It's not like those who can save them are doing something. There are people who can help other people, like they are actually able to do that, but they don't even think of helping. So why are we this selfish? So it doesn't feel like the point of this was for us to have fun because we're selfish. That's another problem. We're very selfish. Like, we don't help others. Why didn't you make us want to help one another? Yeah, man, we have found ourselves in a situation very similar to uh, what's happening in the series Squid Game. Those that are poor are being taken advantage of, but those that are powerful and rich, they can make us play any game that they want us to play. And we're desperate, so we do whatever they say we must do. Make us queue because we want a job, Find that the queue is super long, right? People want to drop their CVs and they're only looking for one person. You're like, this can't be right. This can't be it. Find that the whole year, a person of only spent like the amount that like a year, maybe an amount that's less than 30K. I'm not talking about like on only on what they buy. I'm talking about everything, right? Food, electricity, clothes, all the important things. You find that 30K is like how much? We might be talking 30K. We might be talking less than $2,000, maybe 1.5. Yeah, 1.5 somewhere there. For the whole year, they've not spent that kind of they've not spent more than that amount on themselves. That's how poor some people are in this realm, and we are competing for survival. And there are people who have it all because it's we're competing for survival. So some have managed to have it all to become billionaires. Some had it all from the beginning. Some had nothing from the beginning, and they never became lucky because uh, it seems to me that most of the time it depends on luck. If you're lucky enough, then you get to have what you want. Thank you guys for watching until the end. Thank you, God, for watching. I know you're always watching, right? Thank you.